Patrick, what is going on this Monday?
Well, the worst part of my trip down to southern Minnesota for baseball was I lost my remaining stand. I had two of them where I put my phone when I talked to you guys, and now I'm down to zero. So that's I'm gonna. It, I got my car washed. I put all my stuff that was in the car in a bag, but I don't know where the bag went. It's got all my the accessories that you travel around in a car in. I put them in this bag, and I left it at the car wash. But anyway, beyond that, everything's fine except this weather is ridiculous. What happened? I mean, it's 50 degrees. I don't get it. A week ago it was 80 degrees. But man alive, we got a lot going on here. We got a baseball team coming home that's 113 out of 14. We got the team we didn't want our Timberwolves to be playing in the final here in the Western Conference final, and I think we should pause for a minute to make fun of Maple Leafs fans once again who crowd the street. 10,000 of them out there watching on TV, freezing, knowing deep in their hearts these guys are going to lay down like dogs and get beat. And of course they did. And that was at home, right? That was a home game. They got beat 6-1 at
Yes.
home by the Florida Panthers.
Yes.
And the streak goes on. And wasn't how did they ever get to Game 7? Because Florida beat them bloody like at least twice, right? 6-1 twice.
6-1 in game 5 in Toronto. Toronto went
Yes,
to Florida in game 6 and won to get it back to
one
Toronto where they lost. So outscored in their last two
12
home
to
games,
2.
12-2. Yeah.
12-2. Now, when did we pull the go? I suppose we gave up two shorties. Two pulled the goalie
I
type
think
thing.
at least one last night. Yeah. But I mean,
Mm.
that game, I watched the whole game. It was embarrassed. It was no contest. It
Really?
was no
Wow.
contest.
It's why do people do that? Stay home, go to the bar, stay home. Why do you go out there and freeze to death and scream like a lunatic to look at a big screen and then when your team gets beat, you got a chance to get punched by some drunk.
How close are they to being the Vikings, though? Like
Oh yeah.
very, very similar tracks. They
Well,
can't get.
when you consider that when they won last, it was a six-team league, right?
Yeah.
Last year, the six-team
Last,
league.
yes,
So
67.
the requirements for winning a championship weren't that high. And if you just go by NFL standards, our boys won a couple, right? They just didn't, then they didn't win the Super Bowl. So we don't count them as championships. But when when you got to the Super Bowl era, you were having to beat how many teams? There was eight came in from the AFL, right? Or did maybe more, 9 or 10.
Yeah, I don't
But
remember it.
you
Yeah.
went from a
Yep.
you went from a 40, you went to like 24 teams or something like that. So you're trying to win a Super Bowl, and then they haven't won since it went to 12 teams. They've never won back in the old days. You had to beat out two teams to get in the playoffs, and then you only had to go through two rounds. So it's an amazing streak of ineptitude. That's for sure. And you know it's a long time ago when the superstar of that team played for the Fighting Saints because they were too cheap to pay him in Toronto, right? Davy Keon.
David
So
Keon. Yes. Yes. Very good.
this
Exactly.
all this all started with Harold Ballard being too cheap to pay for
Oh,
players,
God. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean he was a. That's by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a sports documentary, the one on Harold Ballard is one of the all-time great ones.
Yes.
And let's say he didn't seem to be a guy who valued diversity in his.
No.
No,
No, he was not.
I mean, he
But
didn't. It wasn't a problem in hockey then because we did have black guys playing hockey. But if you had, Harold wouldn't have signed any. We know that.
but the fans too, right? Like the Vikings fans, the Leafs fans, they get their hopes up. They
Yes,
gather. They're like, this is finally might be the year, and they get shot down before you ever get to like the Stanley Cup Finals or Super
yes,
Bowl. That's the incredible
yes.
thing.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing run, and it's probably. I mean, they got basketball there now, and obviously, and they draw pretty well, and they won a. That's what's embarrassing. They've won an NBA title, and they haven't won an NHL title. They've in the expansion era, they've won they've won more titles in the NBA than the NHL. But it's probably still the best town, right? As far as how much they pay for tickets
Oh, they're crazy. Yes,
and
they're crazy.
they're
They were
they're
throwing
sold out.
jerseys on the ice last night. People,
Oh, oh,
people were taking off their Maple Leaf jerseys. In
and
fact,
throwing
one
them
while play was going on and tossing them on the ice as the game was in progress.
in protest of
In
the
protest, yeah.
in protest of once again being disappointed.
Yes.
Now I'm sure the Toronto papers are reduced in clout like they used to, like they are everywhere else in Toronto. But they used to have the great acerbic hockey writers too. That they've always had the hockey writers who thought they knew more about hockey than the coach and the team
Which
and
is most of them,
the
by the way.
executives. And the great Frank Orr was one of my favorite guys, crazy, funny guy. And can you imagine the fun Frank would be having with them with them puking on themselves again? He did it with humor more than just attacking their strategies. But that's that was a great newspaper town too, in the old times.
Oh,
They had
Globe and
three or
Mail and the
the
Sun.
Star and the Sun, and
Yep.
they had three. And the Globe and Mail was like the New York Times. It kind of wrote it fairly straight, but they had two tabloids basically, the Sun and the Star, and they just hacked them. So and I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go up there if I'm still hanging in next year, though, because the young lady from Jackson, from Lakefield, Minnesota, Teresa Resch, is starting that WNBA team that's already like sold out the arena. They built their own arena,
Oh, they did.
and yeah, they
Okay.
have their own arena. They're not going to one of the big places. They got like 8,000 seats, and she was the executive with the Maple Leafs, and I've done a couple of pieces on it. Not the Maple Leafs, with the Raptors. I mean, and the basketball team, and and then she moved to this starting the WNBA team up there, and they're gonna pack them in, and she's kind of running it, and they got a lot of money behind them too. So I might have to go up there, and that wouldn't. And you could go up. The WNBA season, of course, starts just about the same time Toronto's getting eliminated from the
Oh, it'd be a
playoffs every
double
year.
whammy for you. It'd be
Yeah,
great. Two
that
for
would
one.
be that would give you. It'd be great to be there for a seventh game when they got the whole city fired up, and then they take a 6-1 puke. It's fantastic, unbelievable. That, of course, is not the big news here. I don't think it was a good day for us here, basketball wise. OKC, fresh, deep. They showed some vulnerabilities against Denver, but they did win 68 games. I think they won, what, 16 more games than any other team in the West, I think, something like that.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a very good team that we're playing, and of course, AJ and I were just talking. Every time they call a foul on SGA, the crowd's going to be screaming because we got everybody fired up that SGA gets all these free fouls. So it's gonna be a lot of complaining about the officiating in this series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure they do in Oklahoma City. But the idea that the NBA would somehow favor Oklahoma City, the 28th largest market in the league, I don't think so. I think they'd a lot rather have Ant and and at least they could show A Rod in the stands or some damn thing. Oklahoma City is. They get an Oklahoma City, Indiana final. They might set a world record for bad ratings, don't you think?
Yeah. It would definitely hurt them for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
I mean, it is funny how the league has changed enough, though. I mean, it used to be a big market league. The free agents went places. Now, now it's not. It's more like it's more like the NFL in this situation right here, because
Yes, absolutely.
because you're bringing in so much national TV money that everybody can afford the same amount of expenditure for payroll. All you're doing is trying to stay under, the first. You stay at least in the first apron or something. It's a much more balanced operation than it was, but it isn't great for ratings. That's for sure. They were
It's
better off when the Celtics played the Lakers every year.
sure, but it's also now more about players as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they market players more than teams. But yes, if you get a market as small as that, it definitely is going to have an impact of some sort.
But the youth of America, they don't sit down and watch a game anyway, but they love the NBA. They love
Right, because the
videos, and
highlights.
they
You're right.
and they're gonna watch. They're gonna watch moments. They're gonna turn it on in the fourth quarter maybe and see who won. But it's a Instagram audience. It's the Kardashians is basically what it is. So
I
anyway.
don't think that the youth today watches entire games. Right?
No, I don't. That's baseball's problem. What
Yeah.
what kid sits there? Every baseball coach that's out there, like at a high school level, says none of none of their kids play baseball. They like baseball, but they don't watch any games. They watch if they hear that Buxton made a great catch, they'll go find it on video and watch it 12 times. But they're not. They don't watch a 3 hour and 10 minute ball game. That's for sure. So. We
What is
got
your
too
gut?
many options. Let's face it. When I, you know,
Yeah. Well,
when I was a
plus
kid,
what?
when I was a kid, you had the game of the week. We
And
wouldn't
watching
miss
sports
it.
takes time, patience.
Yes, yes, it
Like if
does.
you watch
Yes.
a baseball game, that's still a commitment.
Oh God, yes. Well,
And
I gotta tell you, during a ball game, I flip channels a lot more than I used to because
yeah,
you got 25 options.
and you're looking at your phone more now,
Oh yeah.
and it's on, but it's almost more background noise.
hmm So, what is the Score North crowd saying about the Timberwolves' chances here? Are we? Has Phil found reason to be optimistic? Or
I think Phil picked them. Declan and Phil, I want to say, picked the Wolves in 7. I said OKC in 7.
I, I, yeah, I think our boys will be lucky if it goes 7, but it'll be, they got to get, yeah, to make it a series, they got to get one down there, right? I don't think
Yes, 1-1.
you can't come home 2-0. I know because that 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 team will that team is going to be tough to beat. That's for
They're
sure.
deep. They're deep. They've got everything going for them essentially, Pat. I think that the Lakers and Warriors didn't.
Oh yeah,
Size.
they're fresher. I mean, they did go 7, but they do have a variety of players. That was an odd game. AJ and I we were talking the same thing. We both checked, and Denver's up like 11 or something, and it's kind of a grinded out game. And you switch and you watch an inning of the Twins, and you go back, and they're down 20. It was incredible. They
They
just
turn
blew
you
them out.
over and go on runs, which is a major problem because the Wolves are so prone to turning the ball over.
Yes, and then when they're coming the other direction, they got a bunch of athletes coming at you, man. They can dunk it, and they got to me in a. I'm using this word in a kind manner. One of the great freaks in basketball history, our own Chet Holmgren, who's 7'1", athletic as can be, weighs nothing, and is somehow unguardable, because he's he can go out and shoot a three. He's a fantastic. He can block shots. He can do everything, but he can do everything but eat a steak. I think. I don't know. It's.
You're
I
right.
imagine I imagine he's done everything his whole life to put weight on, and he can't do it. His dad was, tall and lanky, but not. His dad was thicker than Chet is. Chet just can't put any weight on. But God, he's a good player, man. He's a good. He's a real weapon.
Hmm? Yeah, he's Gobert with an outside shot. That's the incredible thing. That outside shot is
Yeah, yeah,
really good.
yeah. He's a terrific player. I always I'm always shocked the year of the COVID. You know that Edina didn't get a chance to win the state basketball title. That Edina team beat Minnehaha Academy that had Suggs and Holmgren. that's that's a they beat them by 15 or something like that. So that must have been a hell of a team, but they didn't get a chance to play for the state title because the the we shut down even before the boys basketball
Yeah, we
tournament
shut down during the
started.
girls
Yeah, we
because
shut down
Paige
it.
didn't win it.
Yeah, Paige didn't win it either. Anyway, it's.
What's your prediction then?
I like Oklahoma City in 6.
Okay.
Everybody always says 6. Nobody ever says 5, right? Or they ever say
Yeah,
6 or
5 would
7.
be aggressively.
But the trouble about saying 6 is then you have, if you're picking the favorite, Oklahoma City, then they got to win Game 6 at home here, our place.
Correct.
So
Correct.
so I think that's always a bad prediction. But I'll tell you this, I think this is a better team than they lost to last year, Dallas. I think Oklahoma City's
Oh, yeah, I
better.
agree.
They're
Yes.
deeper, and that team was. I mean, Kyrie played great.
Yep.
Kyrie played fantastic. Doncic, they couldn't guard him, but then again, the Timberwolves had just came off a grinding series with Denver. Then now this time
They're
they've
healthier.
they've only played 10 games. So
Right.
I mean, last year they'd only played 11 because they played 4 in the first round, but the 7 round, coming back from 20 down in Game 7 in Denver takes a little more energy than sitting around and shooting baskets here for 5 days. So
Yes.
they'll be fresher, but then again, last time they came off a 5 dayer, they stunk out a 5 gamer. They stunk out the building against the Golden State the first game. So
I think if you can split there, Pat, you're doing fine.
not
Like I
yes,
like you're I don't think that you're going to go and get 2.
no.
So
What
I would
makes
take a
you
split there. However
So
you do it.
what's your theory? I guess it doesn't make any difference because it occurred, but do you think they're in the finals? You think they're in this if if Steph didn't get hurt? They might have won that series, but it would have
It would have been harder, but
been a
yes.
battle. Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah, I
think
think
they still matched up pretty well.
yeah. And they beat them bloody in game 4, even though they played the fourth quarter like complete morons. And but I think they probably would have, but it would have been a war if he would have played.
Yes. It probably would have gone 7.
Yeah.
It
And
probably
they
would have gone 7. But they were awful. Like the thing about it is because Steph got hurt during game 1. It's
Yeah.
not that Steph was. The Wolves were atrocious in game
Yes.
1.
Oh, that was one of the
That was
worst.
on them.
That was that was god awful. That's as bad as a team could play. It was, and you didn't really know where it came from either. I would like to see Jalen Clark play 8 to 10 minutes and guard somebody in this game, though. I think you got to worry about guarding people,
Yep.
and the way SGA's cousin is playing right now, I just soon see Clark on the court as nah. So he
It's
had
more
one.
fouls to give too.
Yes, and he had one. He had one good game in the series, but nah. But he hasn't done much. And you know who's fantastic though. It's not a novel thought, but Connolly was hitting open threes, and they took great care of him this year. They didn't play him in the ground, and I think that was a good strategy. But they had other options too. But I think Ant is actually going to have to play better and smarter than he
Yes.
did. Than he did. I,
Yes.
I think he got careless. Now he had 12 assists. You give him credit for that, but he also turned it over way too often. And as you say, you turn it over against them, it's 2 points. Boom, they're gone. So anyway,
I,
it'll
I
be
wonder.
fun.
I wonder if Conley's going to have to play more based on that as well, because he's the one guy who I think can take care of the basketball.
Yeah, because when he leaves, Ant's got the ball all the time. Really. I mean, you talk about Naw is the backup point guard, but he's not really. And DiVincenzo, you don't like him when he's running it either. He's kind of a turnover waiting to happen. And it would help if he comes out and is making threes right off the bat, not what, he had 4 lousy games before he finally
Yeah,
started making some shots. So
yeah. He's going to have to, if they're going to win, his 3 point shooting has to improve substantially. He's been bad from 3 pointers so far.
it's way early to think about this, but it's gonna be interesting to see what this team looks like next year too. I mean, are they gonna break out 3 of these guys next year and start playing them? Or are they gonna come back with the same crusty collection? I mean, they're gonna have to let Nas go, or somebody's gonna have to go for money wise. But
Nah will be gone for sure.
yeah, I think you got to. You got to say, okay, it's fun. It's been fun being in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, but we got to see what we got in Shannon and Miller and Clark. Those 3 guys, I think, for sure. So, I don't know about Dillingham. I don't know if he's. They're going to have to get another year out of Connolly, but he's not ready to go. But it's the future is interesting with this team too because they do have talent. I think they got a draft choice too, right? Because
Yes, they got Detroit's
Detroit, yeah.
in the Towns trade. So here's the question now. So with the way that he's played, you got to figure Julius opts out, right?
Yes.
So he opts out. If
How
you
high do you have to go to get him?
right, and then Nas is go. If he opts out and signs back here, Nas is gone, right?
Yeah.
I can't see him keeping them both.
No, Nas. And you know what? Nas is fun to watch. He's great. Works his rear end off. He's not a good defender, and when he isn't looping up those threes and having them go in, he's he got in foul trouble in that series here because that's a that's the way he defends. He's kind of a not. I mean, we all love him, and you'd love to keep him, but I got a hunch he's replaceable.
All right, how about them Twins? 13
Hey,
wins. We
they
called it.
cheated.
We said
The Brewers cheated, man. They jumped over the fence. What a catch that guy kid made
Jackson Churio. Yeah, that was a hell of a
after
catch.
striking out every time he came up to the plate. But there's some hope now that Reusse might be starting to swing the bat a little better. He was awful this whole period. But you can win 13 in a row when you don't give up any runs. That's basically the pitching has been phenomenal, and they finally had bad pitching and they got beat. Zebby did not look like he was ready for prime time here, but yeah, it's amazing. Second longest winning streak in 65 years, 13 games. One of the most unlikely teams to do that. I mean, the previous 12 gamer was 91. They won the World Series. So I don't see that potential with this team. So, but
No,
anyway,
no.
but it's been I give them credit. It's been phenomenal because yesterday I read a note from Nightingale. Yesterday was the first time in 5 games nobody left hurt. And
Yeah,
they had 5 straight games that a position player left hurt.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, your
But
shortstop, how Buxton and Correa, how Correa
what's
didn't,
Correa doing?
like,
He's
yes,
got
exactly.
he's got Byron Buxton. That's not
No.
that's not somebody. That's not Deshaun Kersey or whatever the hell his name is. That's Buxton. He's going to catch that ball. Stay out of there. And I feel terrible for Buxton because man, he was playing good and
Yes.
running like a maniac. And now he's had them before because he's had at least one bad one before that cost him
He's had like
time.
4 now
Yeah, it's
total. And the one was
yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
And how many? Who knows how many he had as a high school football player in Georgia that they just said go get him. You're okay. The old smelling salts thing with the concussion. So it's just really a bad break for him. And now they'll say, oh, he's always getting hurt. Well, it's hard to blame him for this one when somebody ran into his head. So it's too bad. He was really playing good. and he seemed to be enjoying himself, and everybody was having a good time, and then boom, and now who knows? It
Right, that's the problem now.
could be. You know what? Hey, idiots! Don't send them over to St. Paul for rehabs if they miss 10 days. Put them in the lineup. Don't be idiots and send them to St. Paul. You got to rehab them. Yeah. You don't have to rehab them when they got these replacements. Okay. Buxton doesn't need a rehab assignment to be a better hitter than Kersey. Okay. He doesn't. He doesn't need a rehab.
Well, it's not going to help him. It never
No,
really does help him.
no, it doesn't help anybody. It's just
He's still going to
yeah,
strike out a ton,
yeah.
hit some home runs, and be a superior player to your point to Deshaun Kersey.
Yes, yes, that's something. But it's now they got Cleveland. They got a week. It's kind of I heard Provis yesterday pleading for the fans to show up tonight. They're not. It's still school time. We're still in school and
And
it's
it's
cold.
miserable.
But the weekend might draw well. They might draw well on the weekend. But how about Milwaukee though? Friday night, that place jam packed, man. We got the.
Sold out Saturday.
Why did these? God, baseball can be stupid. Why did they have this when they're figuring out the arithmetic? They have the rivals play 2 game series and got rid of the weekends where they jammed people in. They they do so many stupid things. It's unbelievable. Let's have the Yankees and the Mets play two game series. Okay,
On a
instead of
Wednesday
two.
and Thursday.
Yeah,
They
instead of yeah,
Brewers and Twins were playing Monday and Tuesday.
yeah, instead of 2 weekends. God, who in that office they're so stupid. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. That the only reason to have interleague play is so you can play somebody that's close to you, right? And it is funny some of the rivalry those they came up with. Well, weren't. Some of them weren't with the other league, right? Like Toronto and Detroit. What 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 was that about? I know Detroit's not that far from Toronto, but they aren't exactly aren't. Maybe in hockey back in the old days, the Leafs and the Red Wings, but they're not exactly rivals. I mean, some teams don't have rivals, so that's
All right, Seattle, San Diego is my favorite one.
yeah.
They don't care about each other one
No,
bit, and yet
no.
we shoehorn them into rivalry weekend.
Yes, right. And then we call it rivalry weekend. Well, it's like the one thing about the Wolves I've said, and really the Wild too. They don't have a rival. There's this that it's it depends upon who's good, right? And
Right,
who they and
right.
then you can have a playoff series and maybe create it shortly, but I would guess what St. Louis is as close as we got to a rival.
Yeah, but Pat, you got to beat a team like the rivalries in hockey playoffs are because you beat them one year and then they beat you the next year. The
Yeah.
Wild, when you don't win playoffs at all,
Yeah.
you can't have a rival.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the North Stars had the Blues, I thought,
And the
because
Blackhawks later.
from the late Blackhawks later, but from the early years.
Yes, because
Well,
yes,
we gotta, they, we're not. There's nothing we can do about it. But the Wolves are the right same way. They got to get in the East. They got to get in with Chicago and Milwaukee and
correct.
those, those teams. Hopefully, they'll end up in Vegas and Seattle, and then they'll move us to the East. So uh, it would be. I don't think it's going to happen. I think both of them might lose. But how much fun would Knicks Wolves be?
Oh, the storylines.
Oh, it's just
You
unbelievable.
know, the obvious ones, but then you got the Tibbs one. Gerson now is an executive with the
Yes,
Knicks.
right. You're
He
not
built some of this roster. I mean, he deserves
yes,
credit.
yes,
Gerson's the same one who fired Saunders,
yeah,
just basically hired Finch, and everyone said, "Where's the protocol?" He didn't do protocol.
yeah,
And he said, "Screw your protocol," and he was right.
yes, and he'd still be running if it wasn't for a different situation. He'd still be running
Oh
his
yeah, it was
team.
nothing but his basketball acumen did not get him fired.
No, he did. I looked back when he got D'Lo, when he dumped Wiggins. He wanted to get rid of Wiggins,
Yes.
and he took D'Lo back. And I found some quotes about he's a leader and he's a character guy and all that stuff. Well, he knew deep in his heart he wasn't. He just wanted to get rid of Wiggins, and but he also gave up the draft choice that turned into Kuminga, who was the best player
Yeah.
against them in this
And
series.
he wouldn't have traded Cat. No way.
You don't think so?
I don't
No,
think he trades
maybe
Cat.
probably not have the guts. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have the
Yeah.
guts.
No, Conley's done a lot, but I'm just saying Gerson, who left here under less than ideal circumstances and sort of started this, is with the Knicks. Now there's a ton of great
Oh God,
storylines.
yeah. I got a hunch Gerson's going to be low key though
Oh yeah.
when he's
You think so?
he might be a little bit low key. So anyway, it's going to be a hell of a week.
It
So
will be.
all right, let
It
me
will be.
sell
All
you a
right.
card. I'm going
We'll
to
talk
sell
to you.
you a card. Jim
Yes, I
Paul
was just
and
gonna say.
Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. It's graduation time. The kid needs a car. Get out there. We got SUVs, we got used SUVs, we got new SUVs, we got 2024, 2025 Buicks. They have several varieties of SUVs, several sizes. Right now, the inventory is tremendous. The prices are tremendous. You have factory rebates going, and you have very low interest rates. And if you've been watching sports, they have a lot of ads on the Buick, and they're showing you these SUVs, and they're fantastic looking vehicles, and obviously have all the greatest new technology. Plus, the kid can back up now. They can parallel when they go to take the test. They can parallel park because you got the rear view. You got the rear view mirror there. You can see that. You can see the whole deal. They can be backer uppers just like everybody else when they go to the grocery store and stuff. So anyway. Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. Get out there. These Buick SUVs are fantastic.
We'll talk to you on Wednesday, Patrick. Thank you.
All righty, sir. Goodbye.
See ya. Bye.